the specific behavior is modeled, when the specific behavior is exhibited, when the specific behavior is shown, yeah, to the narcissist, the behavior that the narcissist approves of, then the narcissist gives tiny bit of love and affection. Hello everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to try and answer a question, and the question is, why do I still love the narcissist even though I have got no contact and it's been long that I ended the relationship? Why do I still have feelings for the narcissist? Yeah. So today we are going to try and answer that, navigate that. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So narcissists are, self-centered individuals. They are selfish. They have this huge craving and hunger for admiration, attention, validation. Yeah. They want to be the center of the universe. I mean, for their supply, of course, for their victim. But some of them even want to be the center of attention for, the entire world, the entire universe. Yeah. It's not just limited till the supply and the sources. Yeah. The victim. Some of them even, dream of being admired by the entire world, even though they are not worthy, but still they have this, fantasy, they have this desire and dream. When you are with a narcissist, you have to prioritize the narcissist. You have to betray your own self. Now, in the process of betraying your own self, we get addicted to the narcissist, and I'll tell you how. And there is this huge role of positive reinforcement. Yeah. That causes this very weird and unique trauma bonding. So the narcissist just wants attention, the narcissist wants admiration, the narcissist wants endless things out of their supply. The supply is always labeled as mean and selfish. Every time the supply demands time, attention, admiration, validation, or if the supply is engaging into self-care, if the supply is trying to prioritize himself or herself. Yeah. So those are the times when the narcissist blatantly labels the victim as selfish, mean. Yeah. And the victims then in general feel bad, and that is how this entire trauma bonding takes effect. Yeah. This is how the trauma bonding glues the narcissist and the victims. The narcissists expect certain things in a certain way, and they will do anything and everything to make you do things in a certain way. Now, these narcissists are going to reward you. Yeah. Tiny bits of validation, not healthy validation, the way how healthy individuals engage and give healthy validation. Things are not like that. The narcissists are going to gaslight you. The narcissists are going to manipulate you. And the narcissists are going to do anything and everything in their reach to compel you to comply with them, to compel you to do things their way. Yeah. Now, in this entire process, the reward is not given. The validation, the good words, all of those good things that we expect out of a person in a relationship, those things are not given. Those things are withheld, yeah, by the narcissist. And, we become more hungry. We are like, why the hell he is not validating me? Why the hell she is not validating me? Though I'm doing this much, yeah. But the narcissist wants things done their way. Yeah. They don't want you to do things for them your way. No, they want things to be done their way for themselves. Yeah. You need to understand that. So narcissists are big time into exerting control over their victim. They will go to any extent. Now, narcissists lack empathy and they have inability to self-reflect. So the narcissist might sometimes push boundaries. Sometimes the narcissist might, push limits or beyond limitations, some of the things that they do, in order to manipulate and, force the victims to comply with them. Sometimes they really push the boundaries. Sometimes they really go off limits. Because of lack of empathy, the narcissist doesn't care. Yeah, the narcissist doesn't care what you are going through. Yeah, the entire objective inside of a narcissist's mind is to get things done his way. Yeah, to get things done her way. Yeah, the way how she wants. And in the entire process of getting, things out of their supply their way, these narcissists will go to any extent, even though, their actions might have damaging consequences, their actions might have damaging effect onto the victim. But does the narcissist care? The answer is no. Now, in a narcissistic relationship, there is lots of abuse and tiny bits of love. Yeah, and it's given, you know in a kind of a training regime, in a kind of a training routine. Yeah, so the victims are always kept under, leash. The victims are always under that training regime. Yeah, well, you did, cause me narcissistic injury, I'm going to throw narcissistic rage at you. So next time you don't have to do things that way. Yeah, so the next time you have to do things my way in order to avoid and escape my narcissistic rage. Yeah, so this is how, things are. With positive reinforcement, long periods of abuse, long periods of silent treatment, stonewalling, ignoring, you know uh, the victims, basically go into a state where they are starved. They are starved of attention, love, affection, and they, are ready to do anything and everything for the narcissist. Yeah, so the entire idea is to, confiscate, withhold all that love, affection, attention, admiration, validation. Yeah, so that the victims, feel more weak, more vulnerable, and they have no other option apart from complying to whatever the narcissist wants out of them. Yeah, and then they are ready to go to any extent. Now, when the victims are absolutely, devoted, submitted, and they are complying to whatever the narcissist wants, the narcissist gives that tiny bit of affection. Yeah, when the specific behavior is modeled, when the specific behavior is exhibited, when the specific behavior is shown, yeah, to the narcissist, the behavior that the narcissist approves of, then the narcissist gives tiny bit of love and affection, you know in forms of validation, or it could be anything. Now, this is a kind of a big relief for the victims, for, these supply sources. They feel good. Yeah, all that, prolonged period of starvation, no validation, silent treatment, the narcissist was ignoring the victim, stonewalling, and then tiny bit of treat means the entire world to these victims. So when the victims are, exposed to such kind of regime, routine, and environment on a prolonged, period of time, they get attuned, they get used to it, and they begin to think that this is how it is, this is my life, this is how the world works, this is how things are, and, this is how I need to shape shift and adjust and survive. So all of this really creates an impact onto the minds of the supply. Yeah, they are gaslit on a regular basis. You're worthless, you cannot survive without me, you cannot do anything right. Self-esteem, confidence is getting eroded with all that gaslighting, minimization, invalidation. So over a, period of time, the victims begin to doubt their own self, their own capabilities, and they begin to accept that this is my reality, I cannot survive without him, I cannot survive without the narcissist, and this is how things are, and this is how things will be. So let me just be devoted, let me just surrender and do things the way how he or she wants. So this kind of a, routine or regime on a regular basis gets these victims addicted to the narcissist, yeah? Withholding of love and affection, ignoring, stonewalling, silent treatment, minimization, invalidation. After a long period of time, tiny bit of validation. So it definitely affects the chemical balance of these supply and victims. It affects their chemical balance, yeah, because that one validation makes them feel good. All those happy chemicals, happy hormones are released in the victim's mind, and they feel good that, okay, I got it, finally I have proven myself, finally she agreed to me, finally he agreed to me. Now this gives them a kind of a high, this gives them a kind of a kick, and these victims get addicted to it. So this positive reinforcement is something that is very addictive, that makes the narcissist very addictive for these supplies and victims. So yes, all this, training, all this manipulation, gaslighting, trauma bonding, all what this does is that it creates a illusionary version of love. Healthy love is very different. But these victims, being trauma bonded to the narcissist, I mean, as it is, they are weak, self-esteem, confidence is eroded. These victims genuinely begin to believe and accept the fact that they are worthless, they cannot survive without the narcissist. These victims, you know find that abuse cycle, all that abuse and tiny bit of love or affection in whatever forms, you know they begin to strongly believe and feel that that is love. Yeah, this is what love is, though healthy love is absolutely different. But these individuals, most of these victims of narcissists, are from broken homes, are from dysfunctional families or narcissistic families. Yeah, most of these victims have attachment styles like avoidant attachment style, disorganized attachment style, or anxious attachment styles. So these victims really don't know what healthy is, they have not experienced what healthy is, and that is the reason they are more prone to attracting narcissists and getting into narcissistic relationship. So a wrong picture was modeled when they grew up in such families. They got into relationship with a toxic individual, and they are doing the same thing that they were trained to do in that relationship. Maybe the intensity might be a little more in the narcissistic relationship, more than the narcissistic family. Things might be a little bit different, but it's basically somewhat similar. Yeah, it might be a little less narcissistic, maybe in that relationship, love relationship, things can go to extreme level also. Or maybe it was extreme in the childhood, in the family, and it's the same thing in the relationship. So the kids or the individuals, the victims, they have a lot of this cognitive dissonance. They really don't know what healthy love looks like. They really don't know what healthy relationships are like. So to these victims, these kind of toxic relationship, narcissistic relationships don't appear to be abusive. It's okay for them. It's somewhat like a love relationship for them. Yeah, because they are getting the tiny bit of reinforcement now and then. They are getting those tiny bit of love and affection now and then, though it is not regular. But these kids have their own way of pacifying such thoughts. When such thoughts arise in their mind, that she's being so difficult, he's being so tough, they self-soothe themselves by telling themselves that she has a difficult backstory, maybe he's under pressure, that's why they are doing like this, things will be fine, I mean, maybe now she's not understanding, after a while she will understand. Maybe he's not agreeing to it now, later he'll agree to it. Yeah. So, because of that cognitive dissonance, a person really finds it very difficult to accept that the parent can be abusive. A person finds it very difficult that their partner can be abusive. This entire idea, yeah, of these relationships, to be abusive is something which is very difficult to conceive. Yeah, it's something very difficult to grasp. Yeah. So, there is a lot of things that happens with these victims, and it's because of trauma bonding, cognitive dissonance, um, unhealthy attachment styles, positive reinforcement, then tiny bit of cookies or crumbs thrown at the victim. All of this basically, glues the victim to the narcissist. Yeah. And the victims keep, hoping that she might change, he might change. And this is also one of the reasons why people stay in such relationship for long. So these are, some of the reasons why, the victims uh, have this strong feeling inside of them towards the narcissist. So what if he's ignoring me now? After a week, 10 days, or maybe after a month or a year, he's going to admire me, he's going to validate me, he's going to appreciate me, he's going to show affection and love. Yeah. So the entire, perspective of love, yeah, or what healthy relationship looks like is, messed up. Yeah, inside the heads of these victims. And the credit, of course, goes to narcissistic upbringing, narcissistic relationship, all of those toxic and abusive individuals, that these victims are surrounded by in the childhood and in, adult life. So the entire picture of what healthy looks like, or what healthy is supposed to be, is messed up. It's stretched, skewed, distorted. It's not correct. It's the wrong version. So, this is the reason why the victims, experience these, phases of extreme highs and extreme lows. Yeah, where they feel, an intense pull towards the narcissist. Even if they are not in the relationship, they have got no contact, they have this strong pull. All that positive reinforcement, cognitive dissonance, yeah, all that training regime, routine, it drives them, it pulls them to the narcissist. Yeah. And these victims, sometimes are in a very difficult spot, and they connect again with the narcissist. Yeah. And the narcissists are again going to take them for a ride, we know that. Yeah. So these victims find it very difficult to accept the fact that their husband was toxic, their wife was toxic, their mother was narcissistic, their father was narcissistic. It is very difficult. So, I mean, it takes time, things get clear, but there is a lot of this fog inside, these survivors, inside these victims, for some time. Yeah. As how time passes by, things change, we develop a lot of realization, and we begin to see things clearly. But when we are from a messed up background, we got into a messed up relationship, it's not easy that we, cut off the relationship, we go no contact, and our mind is clear, our head is clear. No, it's not that easy. Yeah. All that manipulation and abuse really messes up things here. It manifests, in terms of health also. Yes, a lot of these survivors, a lot of these victims suffer from a lot of health problems because of that, prolonged, exposure to stress. Stress triggers, cortisol. And cortisol is something that really messes up our immunity. So that is also there. Tiny release of happy hormones, yeah, when those breadcrumbs are thrown. So it's something which is on a chemical level as well. It's not just manipulation and gaslighting and something on a psychological level, but the effects of manipulation happens on a physical level, on a chemical level as well. Yeah, so this is the point that I want to come to, is that all that manipulation, okay, it's distorting, it's blurring things, it's messing up things, but there is a chemical side to it. Yeah, when someone is withholding love, yeah, the body is stressed. The victims are flooded with cortisol. They feel miserable, they feel extremely stressed, they feel low. Yeah, they feel very messed up on the inside, their mood is messed up. Yeah, and then tiny bit of love comes their way. Yeah, those happy hormones, and then the victims feel good, relaxed. So this is how this entire narcissistic relationship becomes a little addictive. Yeah, it becomes addictive to such an extent that we ignore the toxic stuff, we ignore the abusive stuff, and we just focus on the tiny bit of love that is given to us. Yeah, every now and then, as per the convenience of the narcissist. So all this has quite a devastating impact onto our mind, onto our immunity, onto our physical health, psychological health. Yeah, so these are the reasons why it's very difficult to come out of narcissistic relationship and to you know heal from such a abusive relationship. And it takes time, and it's absolutely natural and normal to be drawn towards the narcissist, because there is a chemical angle to it. Yeah, we were given those rewards. Yeah, when we did things their way, when we modeled the kind of behavior and attitude they approve of, they did reward us. Yeah, so that is something that is very addictive. So there is a chemical side to it, and it takes time to wear off all of this disbalance, all of this you know mess that happens on the inside takes time. So yes, I mean, when I was in a narcissistic relationship, I used to get drawn to that narcissist. I used to sometimes feel this strong feeling inside of me. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I used to feel as if that I should communicate with him and connect with him and see if he is ready to change, or maybe he might change and regret what he did with me. But no such thing happened. I tried. I wouldn't say that I never tried. I tried reconnecting, but every time I reconnected and gave, chances to the narcissist, things got more dirty. Yeah, things got ugly. So, this is the reason, all that manipulation, gaslighting, withholding love and affection, tiny bits of validation, positive reinforcement, the chemistry stuff, you know, leads to us having this feeling every now and then that I still love the narcissist in some ways. Maybe I should have given him chance, maybe I shouldn't have been so harsh and rude. It's all here, it's all the chemical mess that happens on the inside. That is what makes us feel that way. Yeah, that I should give another chance, or maybe somewhere or the other it's difficult for me to move on. So it is this chemical balance. Once that gets sorted, now I wouldn't want you all to explore that without any medical help. You guys can connect with a psychiatrist and work on that aspect. So this chemical balance, this or rather, let me put it this way, this chemical disbalance that happens inside, when we are in that narcissistic abusive relationship, uh, makes it very difficult to move on. But when we get in touch with a psychiatrist, maybe they can give us some drugs, maybe they can give us some medicines which can regulate our mood, which can help us feel a little better. So moving on then becomes a little easier. Yeah, I did take help of, psychiatric medication. I was, under the treatment of a psychiatrist for some time, and this was the reason, because all that disbalance, it was very difficult for me to, balance it out on my own. Yeah, it was very difficult. I was just giving up. Yeah, it was not easy. Yeah, and then someone, suggested me that why don't you get in touch with a psychiatrist, and they can give you something that can make you feel a little better. And if you in general feel a little better, motivated, happy, the chances of you going back to that, state, that toxic state, is less. Yeah. So, let me tell you one more interesting thing is that, it's because of these abusive and toxic relationships. Yeah. uh, People often, get into either, bad eating habits to, soothe themselves, or get into addiction to soothe themselves. Yeah, because there's a lot of build up, and they want to soothe. Yeah. uh, in our society, people are not allowed to, soothe in healthy ways. There is no culture of talking things out. There is no culture of discussing things and navigating things together. Yeah. So overall, in general, our society is quite, toxic and dysfunctional. So these things are not entertained. A kid is not, taught to regulate and, soothe in a healthy way. These things are not entertained because everyone is so manipulative, everyone is so control freak. So there is, this huge amount of dysfunctionality. And that is the reason, when people are unable to soothe themselves, when people are unable to regulate themselves, they, take help of, the wrong things. Yeah, all those addictions, alcohol problems, eating disorders, and the list goes on. So yes, when you are, moving out of such toxic relationship, or if you have come out of such toxic relationship, uh, help from a psychiatrist. I mean, the psychiatric medications might be of great help, and it might help you to start a new life in a better way. Yes, therapies are essential. You need someone with whom you can talk, and someone, who doesn't judge you. Oh, you're this or you're that. Someone who just, listens to you, helps you navigate your emotion, helps you navigate your feelings, thoughts. Plus, the psychiatric help is also essential. Yeah, in extreme cases it becomes very difficult. Yeah, so I often suggest my clients, when they are, exposed to long periods of this narcissistic abuse or narcissistic relationship, they sometimes, resort to the wrong things. Yeah, to soothe. And that is, when they mess up their health. That is, when everything gets more messed up. So when you have come out of the relationship, therapy is very essential, self-care is very essential. So, when you are out of a narcissistic relationship, or when you are trying to heal and recover from a narcissistic relationship, therapy plays an important role. But in extreme cases, yes, the psychiatric assistance would be of great help. It can really help you. Yeah. If you're coming out of a very abusive and toxic relationship, therapy plus, the medications suggested by a psychiatrist can be of great help. Trust me, it will help you transform. Yeah, because it's not just the physical thing. Yeah, it's not the things that you experience, and things that you went through, but you need to look inside. Yeah, how things are, on a chemical level. Yeah, that is very essential. That is sometimes, which is ignored, and people find it very difficult to overcome. They are like, oh, I just cannot forget him, oh, I just cannot overcome. And this is because, you know of that disbalance. Yeah. So yes, if you have, endured extreme forms of narcissistic abuse, and if you have really gone through difficult times, I mean, take help of therapists plus psychiatrists as well. It will be of great help. It helped me as well. Yeah, I mean, I did, um, get into therapy where I was able to vent everything out. Yeah, plus the meds suggested by the psychiatrist helped me. Yeah, so yes, this was it. This is basically, the reason why we keep going back. We sometimes, feel that why do I still love him, why do I still love her. Yeah, this is the reason. So in case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below, and please help me grow this channel, help me grow this community, and take care of yourself. Don't ignore the red flags. And you all can reach out to me in case if you all would want some sessions and therapies. Please feel free to connect with me on my mail ID, that is evolvebyskd@gmail.com. And yes, please take care of yourself. So yes, we need to keep moving forward. Certain things are not in control. We don't get to choose our caregivers, and we really can't do much about things which is beyond our control and capacity. So rather than getting stuck into that spiral of rumination and in those toxic abusive relationship, it's better that we move on with the help of therapy, with the help of medication, whatever it takes. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. There is a beautiful long life ahead, and don't stop living. Please take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.